Hello everyone, and you're welcome back to my YouTube channel, Heleena's Corner. How are y'all doing? And welcome to my channel. Before I start today's video, I just want to say that we should be grateful to God for our lives, grateful to God that we're here and we're still standing. I lost my uncle yesterday, a very dear uncle to my heart. He has been ill for a while now, and he passed yesterday morning. Uncle, I love you. May your gentle soul rest in perfect peace, and we that you have left here will continue to make you happy and proud as you watch over us. Amen. So let's go back to my topic for today, and today we are going to talk about how to manage those big, loud, intense tantrums that our toddlers make. All right, like I said earlier, you're welcome to Heleena's Corner, where we talk about parenting, we talk about family life, we talk about safeguarding, we talk about child protection with honesty and heart. And of course, a brief introduction of myself. I am a social worker and I work with children and families in the family safeguarding team. So let's break it all down together with 7 simple, effective strategies that can make a real difference in your home, right? First of all, let's be real. Tantrums are very hard. They are loud, they are unpredictable, they're emotionally draining. When you have toddlers that sometimes don't get what they want, and if you've got a toddler or you've got children, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Now, the first tip we're going to talk about is stay calm. Your calm is their calm. Now, we're going to start from here because it's the most important. As a parent, you need to stay calm. Let's be practical. If your toddler is blowing tantrums or screaming or shouting because you've probably not given him or her what they want and all of that, if that has happened to you, you've experienced that kind of scenario, if you notice that if you're calm, your children will stay calm. But if you're all over the place shouting as well and saying stuff, if you don't keep quiet or this, they will continue. They will see that you're kind of matching their energy, so they will continue. But if you stay calm, you would notice that they will be calm as well, right? Toddlers are still developing. They're still developing the part of their brain that manages their emotions. All right, so they literally do not have the skills to self-regulate. They don't know how to, so because that part of their brain is still developing. So when they're overwhelmed, they need your own regulation to borrow from, right? That means staying calm. Even when your toddler is screaming and shouting at full volume and all of that, I know it's hard, but you just need to stay calm. But here's the trick. Take a slow breath, drop to their level. So if they're on the floor, you just go down to their level. Lower your voice. Yes, even if they're yelling, lower your voice, because they're not able to regulate. So they're watching you. They're seeing what you're doing and how you're able to manage your own regulation, your own emotions. So they will in turn do what you're doing, if you get what I mean. Calm energy helps soothe their nervous system. It suits them. So when you've got a toddler that's probably on the floor, rolling, jumping, and all of that, you drop to their level, take a deep breath, breathe slowly, lower your voice. It helps. Try saying things like, I know you're upset. I see you're really upset. I'm here. We'll get through this together, in a low tone. I know that it's sometimes, I hear from parents, it's easier said than done. But if you're intentional about parenting your children and parenting right, you should be able to do it, right? Remember, you are the thermostat, not the thermometer. You're the one that sets the emotional tone. That's the truth. At the time your toddler sees you calm, sees you taking deep breaths and reassuring them, they will be calm as well. All right, let's just go into tip number 2. understand the why, right? Every behavior is a communication. And I say to parents, sometimes when I'm speaking to parents about their children's behavior, they don't seem to understand why I say your child's behavior is a communication. It is a communication. It's about telling you something they're probably not able to tell you, or don't have the right words to use to tell you how they feel, right? So you need to be sensitive. Understand why the child is throwing tantrums. There's always a reason. There is always a communication behind that behavior. They don't just tantrum just to make life hard for us. They tantrum because something inside them feels too big to hold in. Something inside them feels too big to hold in. That's why they're throwing tantrums. They don't just throw tantrums for no reason. There is a reason. And like I said, there is something inside them that is too big to hold in. And that's why they're throwing tantrums. So you need to understand the why. So before you react, you ask yourself, what's going on underneath? Are they tired? Sometimes overtired kids melt down quickly. If you notice, if you have a baby and your baby is crying and crying uncontrollably, most times it's because they want to sleep. And they are probably not in a comfortable position to sleep. Or you need that soothing for them to sleep. So most times overtired kids are tired. They just throw tantrums. And you notice most times when they act up and do all of that and they get calm, the next second they're asleep. You also have to ask yourself, are they hungry? Yes. Low blood sugar equals low patience. The child could be hungry. And of course, I'm trying to cite examples. If you have a toddler that is just returning from nursery or from school and has not eaten, is hungry, he's going to have really low patience. Even if you're trying to, they can see you actually making lunch or dinner or whatever as the case may be, but they are crying, screaming and all of that because they're hungry. Another question you need to ask yourself is, are they overstimulated? Noisy environments can trigger tantrums. So it depends on what activities they've been doing or they've just done. You will know if the child has been overstimulated. So if a child, normally if you notice, most children, they throw tantrums when they are returning from their party, school, church, an occasion, or maybe there's a party going on in the home. There's always something. When it comes to being overstimulated, they can throw tantrums. It causes tantrums as well. Being overstimulated, maybe they've played too much, or they've partied, or they've heard loud noises and loud voices too much, then it also causes tantrums. And of course, have they had too many transitions in one day? When I talk about transitions, are there many changes that might have happened in the child's life that day? So it could be because children are routine based. So if they have a particular type of routine and that day one or two of their routines are not done, or you didn't go through one or two of their routines. So it could be maybe lunchtime or snack time, or maybe time to go out to the park, and maybe because of the weather you ended up not going, or they're supposed to do something like in their routine that was probably cut off or not done. It also causes tantrums, all right? Especially with children that have learning difficulties or learning disabilities, autism, ASD, and the rest of them. Most times when their routines are cut, or when their routines for the day don't actually go through, they throw tantrums. Now, being a toddler detective helps you tune in, all right? If you're sensitive, like I've always said in my videos, if you're sensitive about your children and their behaviors, you will know, rather than just try to shut the behavior down, all right? So instead of shutting down their behavior, understand the why. Understand what's going on. There's always something. Either that the child is hungry, or the child is overstimulated, or the child has had a lot of transitions in a day, or the child might have even gotten a lot of no's. So you can imagine, I would say, a Saturday morning or a Saturday evening, where in the morning child asked for something and you said no. In the afternoon, daddy said no. In the midday, mommy said no. At night, that child is going to be frustrated. And if he gets another no, then you should be ready for it. So I think sometimes it's about managing each situation, because situations can be unique, they can be different. So it's about managing the situations. And I always tell parents that sometimes good to replace something with something. So if your child wants something and he cannot have it, or he or she cannot have it at that time, for reasons which are valid, because you're a parent, if this is good for this child at that particular time, if you feel like you're going to give this child a no, you should think of something that you can use to replace. So if the child maybe wants a particular type of toy and you feel like it's noisy, or it's going to generate noise, or it's not what you need right now, or whatever, you talk about or think about replacing it with something else that you feel like, oh, child, this is not available, then I can make do with this. Try and think about things like that to avoid tantrums. Sometimes I know, especially parents from where I come from, be like, I'm the parent. I say, yeah, you are. However, if you have a child that's throwing tantrums, it can be very frustrating. So sometimes, yes, it's good to say no to some things that the child might want, but think about something else. Replace what you're actually refusing the child. So if it could be anything, it could be food, it could be snack, it could be toys, it could be whatever it is, it could be clothes. The child might want to wear this particular one for no reason, but you want him or her to wear this one, and the child will say, no, I don't want this one. You can say, oh, I don't want you to wear this, we have to come up with something else. To you, you might not want the child to wear that one in particular. It might be okay with you for the child to wear anything else, but that one, for whatever reason, it might not be weather appropriate, it might not be fit for whatever you're going for. So if you tell the toddler, mommy doesn't want you to wear this, you don't want to wear this, then we have to come to an agreement. Go to your wardrobe and pick something else. That way the child will not be angry or be frustrated or show frustration because, yes, I didn't wear what mommy wanted me to wear and mommy is not wanting me to wear this one. Then both of us will come together and pick out something else, right? So when you are saying no to your child, always think about a replacement, or think about what you can give in exchange for what you don't want the child to have. Tip 3, validate their feelings. All right, toddlers want to feel seen and understood, just like adults do. All right, so when your child throws themselves on the floor because you gave them the wrong color of cup, don't dismiss it. To them, it really does feel like the end of the world in that moment, just like I've explained previously. Validation sounds like you can say to a child, you're really sad about that, I get it, you wanted the blue cup, it's okay to be upset, I'm here, like that. It helps the child feel seen and heard. Notice I didn't say you're fine or stop crying, because the child is not fine, really. These phrases may feel helpful, but often shut the child down. So you say things like, I understand you're upset, I understand you didn't get the one you wanted, I understand you didn't wear the dress you wanted, things like that. Validate their feelings. Tell them they're upset. You understand they're upset. Don't say things like, you're fine or stop crying. When you validate their feelings, you help the child learn that emotions are safe to feel. You help the child know that it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to show that you're not happy for something or for a reason. And that's the foundation of emotional intelligence. It is the foundation of emotional intelligence. When you teach your children from that age that it's okay to be sad, because really it's okay to be sad. We all get sad. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to feel frustrated, because they're humans as well. But telling them you're fine and stop crying, yes, you might feel like it will help by shutting the child down, but it doesn't teach the child emotional intelligence, right? So let's go to the 4th tip. I hope you're enjoying my video. Set clear and consistent boundaries. Set clear and consistent boundaries. I cannot say this enough. Children thrive on consistency. You have to be consistent with children. I always tell parents, you have to be consistent. You cannot come on day 1 with energy, then by day 3 you're relaxed and you expect the child to continue. It's not possible. You have to be consistent in your boundaries, in your routine. And I always tell parents that once you start being consistent with your child, no matter the age of that child, the child will adjust. You have to be consistent with children. You don't make rules or just do things as they come. No, you have to be consistent. And that also means they need to know what's okay and what's not. All right. And that the limits don't change based on mood or environment. You let them know that the limits don't change based on their mood or the environment. Help them understand that if you throw tantrums because you want something, or because you feel like if that would be the solution to what you want, then it's not. Help them understand that there are boundaries, and showing frustration, shouting is not going to solve that issue, or it's not going to make you have what you want, because if there are boundaries, right? You can say things like, it's okay to get angry, but we don't throw toys. Now, telling the child, it's okay not to be happy about this. However, we don't throw toys. So, if you want to throw toys, it's okay to be angry at the fact that you cannot throw toys. However, we don't throw toys. So, you're letting them know that it's okay to be upset about these rules. It's okay to be upset about these boundaries. But the boundaries are in place. You're not going to change. And one thing about children, when you're consistent in saying things like that, the child gets it at the end of the day. And you see that at the end of the day, you see the child even being the one to tell you, or tell his or her friends or siblings, we don't throw toys. We don't do this. Because they've known that it's okay to be upset about not doing it, but we don't do it, right? Boundaries are loving. When you hold firm limits without yelling or giving in, you help your child feel safe and contained. You don't always have to give in. Our boundaries. So it's about managing their emotions when they're upset, and not about giving in when they throw tantrums. Because when they start throwing tantrums and you give in, what it means is that what you're telling them is, every time you throw a tantrum, I will give in. You don't have to give in. Number 5, give choices. Toddlers are learning independence. They crave a sense of control. So when they don't get that, they push back, and they push hard, because they're learning independence. They're learning how to do things themselves. They're learning how to be their own person. So they crave this sense of control. They want to control what they do. They want to, I can actually do this. So you see babies when they're about 4, 5 months old, 6 months old, when they start noticing that they've got feet. Have you noticed when a baby start noticing that he or she has feet? Do you know what they do? You see them always lifting their legs up, trying to see their feet, and trying to wonder, so I've got this, what can I do with this? You see sometimes some of them try to put it in their mouth, try to raise their feet and try to see if it will enter their mouth. Because they'll be like, what is this food? Is this a part of me? You see them exploring with their feet, especially their feet. You see them raising the legs up. You see them when they don't have socks on. You see them trying to move their toes, trying to look at it and understand, what's this? Is this a part of me? That is it with toddlers. They want this sense of control. They'll be like, oh, I can actually do this. And that's why they run a lot. Because when they notice that they can run, they'll be running all the time. When you see a child develop, as a child is growing, when they notice that they can do something, or when they notice that, oh, this can actually be done, or I can write, or I can actually paint, you see them exploring. So yes, they crave a sense of control. So when they don't get that, they push back, and they push back hard. So instead of backing others all day, or shouting, try offering simple control choices. Do you want to wear the red shirt or the blue one? Give them choices. Would you like to walk the bath or hop like a frog? So give them choices. Do you want 2 or more minutes or 5 more minutes before we clean up? Give them choices. All right. Giving choices helps reduce power struggles while keeping you in charge. It helps to reduce power struggles while keeping you in charge. So to them, they are making choices. To them, they are controlling their lives. But you're in charge. Like I explained earlier in my previous example, if the child wants to wear a particular pair of boots and it's probably not appropriate for the outing you guys are doing, or it's not weather appropriate or whatever, you can give the child choices. So you can say, well, you can't wear this due to this reason. However, you can choose between this or this. Now you're giving the child that autonomy to say, I want this, while still being in charge of the situation. So as parents, of course, like I always say in my videos, you need to be very sensitive when you're dealing with your children. It empowers a toddler to feel like they're part of the plan. It empowers them to feel like they're part of the plan, and it builds cooperation and confidence. Tip number 6, anticipate and prevent. Some tantrums are predictable. Yes. Most times we know when our children are going to throw tantrums. We know what triggers. We as parents, we always know what to trigger this child. You know what will happen or what you will say to your child to trigger your child. Now, and if you can spot them before they happen, you can prevent it. Observe your children's patterns. Is your child always cranky around 11 a.m.? Bring snacks. Do they melt down after daycare? Give them quiet time when they get home. Do transitions cause chaos? Use visual timers, countdowns, or song to help. This is basically or mostly for children with learning difficulties or learning disabilities or autism, right? Most times transitions cause chaos, so you give them visual timers. When it comes to things like a massive change, maybe when they're going on holiday, so you guys could be traveling on holiday as a family, and because it's going to affect the child's routine, you start on time to soothe them or to cushion the effect of that transition. Because they know or maybe, of course, traveling would have to affect because you have to drive to the airport, you have to do that, settle in and all of that. So you need to let them know on time, and you do things like calm down. Oh, we're traveling, 5 sleeps. You come the next day, 4 sleeps. Come the next day, 3 sleeps, 2 sleeps. Just so that when it happens, they're ready for it. They're emotionally ready for it. You can do countdowns or set timers when you want your toddlers to go to bed. Most times, some of them might not want to go to bed. They might be playing with their toys or you start with countdown. You go into the room and say, if you guys have got 5 minutes left. Oh, we have 5 minutes. To them, they're still playing, but you're telling them it's almost time. You come back after a couple of minutes. You've got 4 minutes left. You've got 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and time up. Then they've positioned themselves. They are emotionally ready to stop playing. But going into their bedrooms or to the child's bedroom or whatever to say, time's up, stop, they will throw tantrums. But if you start with timers, if you start with 5, in 4, in 3, you're helping them. That's another way to prevent tantrums. All right? Routines are your friend. They help toddlers feel secure, and security actually reduces anxiety. So when they know what's going to happen next, it helps them, which means, of course, fewer meltdowns. And my 7th tip, repair and reconnect. Always repair and reconnect. Do not leave your children to throw tantrums and you leave them there and that's it. Always repair. When the tantrum is over, everyone's exhausted. Now what? It's time to reconnect, repair, and teach. That time when they calm down, when they stop, or when it ends, is a time to reconnect and teach. Offer a hug, and in soft voice, guide them gently, right? You can say things like, that was hard, wasn't it? Or, I'm proud of you for calming down. And next time, let's use our words instead of shouting. Especially my last example, you say things like, next time, let's use our words instead of shouting. And you say it gently. You don't raise your voice. These moments matter deeply because they show your child that no feeling is too big and no behavior breaks the bond between you. It shows them that no behavior breaks the bond between you. Repair helps build resilience and trust, right? And the more you do it, the safer your child feels to grow, try, fail, and try again. Because they know that mom is there to reassure me. Dad is there to reassure me, right? So, there you have it. 7 powerful tools for managing toddler tantrums in a way that is calm, connected, and confidence boosting. Parenting is not easy. It can be messy, but it's sweet when you're intentional about your parenting. Toddlers are unpredictable, but every meltdowns an opportunity and not a failure, right? I hope this video has helped you, and if this video has helped you, hit the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to Heleena's Corner for more tips on parenting, safeguarding, and family life. You've got this, and you're doing better than you think. See you in my next video. Bye.